Imagine sitting at a family gathering, your relatives exchanging glances and dropping you subtle hints about marriage. You're 28, successful in your career, and yet every conversation somehow circles back to the same question: when are you getting married? Society often imposes an invisible timeline for major life milestones, and relationships seem to be at the top of that list. Welcome, listeners. I'm Pulkit Garg, your host and host. We are back with another insightful episode of We Are Listening. And in today's episode, we are joined by Shalini Singh, founder of And We Met, a singles community dedicated to helping individuals in their late 20s, to be specific, 28 and beyond, finding committed relationships. Her personal journey through the complexities of modern dating led her to create a platform that fosters authentic interactions while promoting self awareness. And let's hear from Shalini about her amazing journey and the inspiration that led her to create And We Met. Welcome, Shalini, to the show.
Thank you so much, Pulkit. Looking forward to our discussion.
Same here, Shalini, same here. And before we move forward, why don't you share about your journey and the inspirations that led to the creation of And We Met?
I'm building and we met. It's a community for singles 28 and above, looking for a long-term committed relationship, be it marriage, be it live-in or companionship. And this whole idea came because there were two incidents that triggered this whole concept in my head. One was from the age of 20 to 26, I was introduced to the boys' parents versus the boys, and I was disapproved or rejected by all as stating that the girl is dark complexion or ladki kali hai. This left me very vulnerable, and there was a question mark on top of my head always for years, that how has skin color got to do with compatibility with a person. Anyways, life had plans for me, and whilst I'm glad it didn't work out there, because it took me through a very reflective mode for about 10 years, where I had to, try and feel good and get back to who I was. When I did reach that stage, that's from my mid to late 30s, and I reached out to friends and family that, hey, can you help me and get me introduced to somebody, and I am ready for a committed relationship. So again, I was kind of questioned and indirectly told that now that I'm in my 30s, it's going to be close to impossible to find someone. Uh, and that again led another question in my head, that I feel very young. I feel great about life. Everything is going great. I feel great about who I am. So why are people talking like this? Um, so these two incidents triggered me, and then I was seeing what was being built around, and these two incidents triggered for me to build And We Met, which I started building in 5 or 6 years hence, because because it's got to do with human emotions, and was nervous before I built it, but now I am all in it.
I can relate to whatever you just shared about your journey as well as about building a community, because I also, am building a community of wellness experts, and it's more on the professional front where what you are doing involves a lot of emotions and the personal touch as well. So I am sure it's really difficult. And coming back to our topic of marriage, it's something that is part and parcel of everyone's life out there. And the factors, the societal pressures, the parents' pressures that we all go through, it's really overwhelming at times. So, coming to the very burning question first, what's the right age to marry? And what are the factors that drive that decision?
It's a great question. But I would like to say that it's not in everybody's agenda to get married. I think we should try and understand that. But coming back to the question, I've personally wondered myself for years, what's the right age to marry? For me, I only felt ready for a committed relationship in my mid to late 30s, right? And because before that, I was spending time understanding life and myself. So, but I do know culturally being a single woman in 30s and actually even 40s, being a woman or a man single in 30s and 40s is viewed negatively because in our culture, regardless of where the parents live in the world, right? Marriage is actually seen as a major life milestone. So much so that conversations and jokes about marriage start as early as when you're a child. And you just know that, okay, I need to get, like, marriage is one of the things that I need. This marriage needs to take place in my life. When it comes to parents, they expect their children to marry after they've completed their education or they've been working professionally for a year or so, which is usually, ideally, the parents want the children to marry um, in their early to mid 20s. And I think several factors drive the societal pressure of regarding the right age. One, I think, is the biological consideration where the society often expects marriage and family building to happen by a certain age, according to them. And the second, I think, watching friends and peers marry can trigger a sense of comparison and, creating urgency to do the same. And I think this is something which you and I were also talking about before we started,
Yeah.
right? That how your friends are. Some of your friends are married and they have children, and how they kind of and you are not, right?
Yeah.
So and then you feel the FOMO, or as you said that, okay, am I too late? Whilst you're just 31 and you're so young.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. And I relate to what you're saying over here, Shalini. But there are a lot of, apart from the societal expectations and pressure, there's a culture that has been set into the Hindu society or the Indian society out here. If we go back to the Ayurveda as well, they have defined different timelines and sections of our ages. So coming from those lineages, what are the cultural expectations that shape our decision?
I won't be able to, I don't know about the Ayurveda bit and all, but it's an interesting segue from your previous question. And in my view, let me share what I think are three cultural expectation, right? So, one is the gender role. So, like while growing up, it is shaped on how we view responsibilities within relationship, work, and family life by observing things that are happening around, right? Plus, also, even today, women are made to, feel the pressure to prioritize marriage and children, while men are, pushed to focus on financial success and stability.
Yep.
Right. The second also is the social status, what I say, which is the decisions of this is the decisions around who to marry, where to live, or even what career path to pursue, can be driven. These are choices that are driven on expectations from one's family or community. And I think the third, in my view, is a religion. I think it plays a central role. So
Hmm.
many personal decisions are shaped by religious teachings and traditions. I think these could and may influence everything from partner selection to career path and lifestyle choices.
You know, I totally align with the expectations you have shared right now, Shalini. But is there such a thing called as a correct age for marriage? Because we say that it is an individual journey. You have to evolve. You have to get to that understanding. But what's this whole thing called the correct age?
Okay, so I'm assuming you're asking for my personal view, setting aside societal expectations that suggest marriage should happen by early to mid 20s, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. So, before I share my thoughts on the correct age, I'd like to rephrase this question. Instead of asking about the right age for marriage specifically, let's ask what's the correct age to enter a committed relationship? Because committed relationships come in many forms, marriage, live in, or companionship, right? And this form of the timing of these relationships depends entirely on the individual, right? So that's my request. I do think that what's the right age to enter a committed relationship? Well, for some it may happen in 20s, for others in 30s, 40s, or even 50s. I don't know if you're aware that there are many singles in their 30s, 40s, or 50s who have never experienced a romantic relationship because either they had other priorities or simply they haven't found their person yet. So, in my view, everyone's journey is unique, and there is no one size that fits all answer for you. So, the right age for commitment is when you are emotionally and mentally ready, and not when the society says it should happen.
Oh, I totally align with that. And I have experienced one or two friends who are past 40 or who were, probably 35 when I was at a age of 26, 27. And they didn't have any, relationship by then. And they were happy because of the family priorities. They had to take on to the financial muscle of, becoming that financial pillar of the family. They could not really get into their own personal life, evolution. But yeah, once the family was settled in, the financial responsibilities were over or completed. The guy got married and he's really happy today. He found the right person after 35. It's probably around, I guess, 5, 6 years back, what I'm talking. And today he's happily married, So you really mentioned on the point about the emotional maturity. You touched slightly upon it. But can you elaborate a bit on the emotional maturity that comes to us at different ages of our lifespan and how it impacts us getting into a committed relationship?
Okay, so emotional maturity for me is shaped by life experiences, personal growth. That's how I define, that's how I see emotional maturity gets evolved. But given that you've asked me to break it down in different age groups, here's my take. I think in our 20s, we begin to understand what we want from life, and relationships. And relationships in this decade are about exploration, about growth. That's what it is in our 20s. In our 30s and beyond, I think we have a deeper understanding of compromise, or adjusting. And I think this age group also has a heightened self awareness and hopefully clarity about their relationship needs.
I just have a one follow-up question over here, Shalini, because I'm coming from the place where a lot of times what I hear in the society, it's I agree that as we evolve and as we age, the self-awareness increases. But it is often said that it gets difficult to be flexible as you age. It gets difficult to compromise or adjust because your thought processes have been fixed. You become a little bit, if I have to put it in a very different context, you become a bit stubborn in your nature. You have settled into it and it gets difficult. So, what are your thoughts on this?
But what's the harm? What's so stubbornness? So so you can still be stubborn in your 20s also. You could be somebody in your 20s, who's not open to feedback, who's not open to molding, who's not open to learn, right? So I don't agree with what, yes, what happens as you grow older or as you age, you carry your life experience with it. So are you saying, I will not agree with this, that that everybody becomes rigid. I think it's in a relationship, we are only talking about finding a partner. Anybody who is in a relationship, if they stay rigid, the two of them, it's going to be a very unhealthy relationship, right? So I think evolving and growing is a lifelong process. So that's how I look at it.
True, true. And what do you think the role of career and financial stability have in the relationship decisions?
I think career and financial stability shape relationship decisions by providing security, freedom to choose your partner, which thereby allows you to make intentional choices. Having said this, I do know that there are individuals who may not like to be a financial provider after they enter a committed relationship, but that's up to the two individuals who are entering into it. I think the important part here for me, what I always say is, I mean, it's important to be financially independent. It's great. But I think more than that, one should always be constructively occupied than having just a free mind.
You have very well put this out. Being constructively occupied, that's, I believe, be it a male or a female, that's really important because a lot of times, even if you're not the financial provider and you're not working, be it any gender, whatever I have observed, I'm yet to get into a relationship, so I would not say that I am sharing something that I've experienced, but what I've observed is with both the genders I've seen, if you're not constructively occupied, you tend to have a lot of gaps and issues in a relationship. And often, these things are put on to that we were rushed into a relationship because of a societal pressure coming into picture. So, what are your thoughts on this? Can rushing into a relationship really cause those long-term emotional turmoils?
I think rushing into anything is not great. So, to answer your question, I absolutely see it happening. If anybody who rushes into a relationship without thinking, I think even in our community, it's filled with financially independent individuals, and some of them who have rushed to find someone due to societal pressure, and with it not working out has led them to be anxious about their next or new relationship, because they come with poor past experience. So I think the pressure often results in emotional burnout, fear of repeating past failures, or even fear of settling for less. So thus it's very important to build, like I talk about, a must have or a deal maker list. So to answer your question, yes, societal pressure can cloud judgment, leading to long term emotional harm more than anything else.
What can we learn from the experiences of those who have been married at different ages? Like, we not everybody gets married at the same age. So, what should be the points we all should be observing who are about to be married? What things we should be looking for?
Okay, so firstly, we need to learn that there is no perfect age for marriage. And one can enter into a committed relationship even more than once, right? So it's about your personal readiness and life circumstances. So those who marry, so what I feel is that those who marry at different age, so they offer insights into benefits and challenges unique at unique to their stage of life. So for example, marrying in 20s hopefully may mean growing together, while marrying or entering a committed relationship in 30s and beyond often comes, I think, with more self-awareness and clarity about one wants in a partner. Having said this, ultimately, the timing that works best is deeply individual.
We have been for the overall duration of our discussion being discussing on the right time or the right age. But do you think that the narrative needs to change from right age to finding the right person?
I did talk about that. Yes, it's about the finding the right person. Yes, it's not also finding the perfect person, it's finding the right person for you. Yes.
Shalini, how can we shift the narrative from the right age to the right person?
It's not about shifting the narrative, but I think it's about adopting the idea that it's the right person that matters and not the right age, right? So one should even understand this. And I think love, I've said this before, love can be found at any stage of life and more than once. And we need to break away from this Bollywood inspired notion of love happens only once. And I think, finding the right person should be a fulfilling process and not an exhausting one. And this becomes easier when individuals are clear about their what I call is must haves. And if they're clear about their must haves or deal makers, I think knowing that would make it very easy or will simplify your journey to find the person for you.
I really relate to that, and I recently joined the community and we met as well. And I was really impressed and inspired by what one of the community members had shared over there. It was shared by a female member, and the way she had very clearly shared what is she looking into the person or the partner. That really made me also think: Do I have that level of clarity for my partner? Who am I actually looking for? So I really, was amazed and inspired with the way she had put those thoughts and the way she had articulated it as well, where it was very straightforward and yet very respectful in all the manners. Because at times when marriage conversations are happening, or people are putting across their deal breakers, people often take it as offensive, but the way it was taken in spirit by each and every member of the community and people cheered for it, it really shows the importance and quintessential nature of having clarity on your whys and who's and how's everything. If you have that clarity, I guess that really makes the difference in finding the right person.